I'm finally back. I'm AlexVo, and we're gonna be reacting to Nick Smith NBA and the complete compilation of Kobe Bryant's greatest stories told by NBA players and legends. And today it is Mama Day. It's 8/24, so we are gonna continue that. And it's day number 2 of just watching and reacting to Kobe Bryant. And let's get started with the video here.
Wish you a happy new year. Let's hope 2021 is a lot better than 2020, which I'm sure it will be. The second thing is, I got a lot of comments in my last video about the hair. Yeah, I'm rocking a mullet, so you guys will just have to stick with it for a little while. And then thirdly, the reason why I haven't really been uploading too much on this channel is because I prepared this video. This has taken me a long time to make. With all the editing I had to do, the research, I had to go through a lot of clips, I had to find game highlights, go through podcasts, go through interviews and all these sorts of things. This was a project that I was really excited to push forward to you guys, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this. The aim of this series is to make 12 videos, so 1 episode per month. This is obviously the start, Kobe Bryant. It's a short documentary style kind of collection of his greatest stories told by NBA players or people in the media. And with that, I obviously had to go through actual game footage and find the games that they were talking about. So you guys seem to like these videos in the past, and I think you'll love this series. I also added in previous videos that I had on the channel. So if you're watching this video and you're like, I think I've seen that before, that's the reason why. But it would really help me out if I could have your support. If you enjoy this video or you're excited for this series, please help me out by leaving a like rating. It helps me out so much. Also, comment down below which player you'd like to see next in this series. And if you're new around here, feel free to hit that subscribe button for NBA content each week. With that said, here's the video.
Now, you know when guys are on the court out there, and I've asked a number of the guys this, are you guys talking stuff to each other when you're out there playing and competing?
Sometimes.
The rest of the screw. All right, let's see. Put your hands on me.
There you go. So, for me, I still remember Sasha Vuja. He did knock down some actually clutch free throws in the playoffs for the Lakers that one year. But then again, I always call him the machine, but I guess he does well in practices, but in the games, well, he's not a horrible player or anything like that. But I just remember he usually always get other players from the other team get frustrated and all that stuff and get technical fouls. But yeah, now we're gonna be listening to probably Bryant Scott and some other players too. Let's continue though.
And some of it I think is that he emulated some of the things that MJ did as well, because MJ was a terror in practice.
Yeah, he's hard on his teammates.
Yeah.
It was the first time, you you look at somebody and you can't tell if he's looking at you. Like, he looking dead.
Him and Shumpert. I remember Shumpert. I don't know what happened. Oh, man. I feel bad for him, though, because he was doing pretty solid for the New York Knicks. Then injuries happened, and then after that, his career kind of went a little bit downhill after that, really. But let's continue here.
Dead at me, but I'm like, I don't know if he sees me. I think I'm just like not relevant enough for him, but he couldn't see me, and I felt it.
You know what I mean? And when you want to talk about the swagger, oof. I mean, Kobe had it, but as a competitor, I knew that
Dwayne Wade, that actually Olympic team, that was a pretty amazing team too as well. The one with Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Carmelo, Kobe Bryant, the 2010 one, that was a pretty good, amazing Olympic team too as well. So that was really amazing there. But let's continue here.
Kobe was the one for me that I had. If I wanted to be great, that I had to get on the level of Kobe Bryant.
The entire crowd was watching him. Like that's the reach that he had.
Tech, he had a great game.
Did you?
He just went off the whole fourth quarter.
Every once in a while,
You would see flashes.
yeah, then he would say some shit.
Yeah, I kind of do miss Lou Williams on that Lakers team, but then that Lakers team was pretty awful. Man, that team was just really bad, and it was a lottery team. So we were trying to get our younger players to play at that time, and we didn't really need Lou Williams. But now he would have been pretty solid, but he's with the Atlanta Hawks now. But let's continue and play
The whole room was like,
I still couldn't stop it, and I knew what he was about to do over and over and over again, And that's a part of his greatness, man.
Yeah, look at you know what? That's loves this time, relishes it. And he and Gerald Wallace are having a conversation.
God damn, 500K on a bet. I would never bet on Kobe. That's the thing. That's for sure.
That's Kobe and Gerald Wallace going at each other while Kobe's on the free throw line. Gerald's still talking to him. They're still talking to him. They're still having a conversation. As Kobe's about to shoot the biggest free throw of the night. 3-point game.
All right, so we're back. After the ads there, but let's continue to the story.
4.8 to play.
Also, like, you should subscribe to Nick Smith NBA and also like the video because he did a pretty amazing job adding. Man, there's probably a lot of clips here, and probably could have been way more clips for sure because there's just a lot of stories, and eventually more stories gonna come out anyways, and also maybe more stories today too as well, because it is Black Mama Day too as well. But let's continue here.
And that's not like, people think those stories are like not real. Like, those stories are real.
Rumor has it, the story where Kobe was playing against the
Caron Butler. I don't know why, but I was kind of disappointed when Lakers traded away Caron Butler because he was doing really, really great for the Lakers that year too as well. Then they traded him for Kwame Brown, but end of the day, at least we can't complain because we did end up getting Pau Gasol for Kwame Brown and plus other pieces too as well. So at least we did end up getting someone better. But getting rid of Caron Butler, that was just kind of dumb of a trade, actually.
76ers, and Andre Iguodala had done a great job on him. Held him to like 7 for 20 shoot. So he literally when they went back to Philadelphia, he had that date marked on his calendar.
So he came to the locker room, and he was like, where's Dre? And I was on the court working out, getting ready for the game. And it was Lewis Williams. It was like, he told Lewis Williams, he said, tell Dre 50 tonight. So I come back to the locker room and Lou Williams was like, yo, Dre, Kobe said 50 tonight. I'm like, I'm always ready to play against Kobe, so I'm like, okay, this will be a good matchup. Excited about it. So 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. He has 49.
And Iggy was part of that trade for getting Dwight Howard too as well. He went to Denver and he actually definitely helped the Denver Nuggets a lot that year too as well, but then he went to the Golden State Warriors and he ended up winning actually MVP for the finals that one year and also ended up winning the title. So a couple titles with the Warriors, and he is back with the Warriors again this year. So we'll see how they do.
And they're about like 20 and he gets subbed out. So he got 49 with 6 minutes to go. The game was over. So that was an interesting night. I actually went back and I tracked that game. He made like 3 threes from like where it says Staple on the side of the court. He made like 3 threes from like the P in Staples, which was like far. So yeah, and then we got a lot of pick and roll action. I'll never forget that game.
The stories, I remember at USA Basketball, first practice, you know, he looked like, I don't want to say old, but he looked like, I was like, man, am I seeing like the end, you know, it's like he's starting to decline. I didn't tell anybody that, I would never say that out loud. But I was just thinking that in my head, you know, because he just wasn't moving, you know, as well as he was. He's missing a lot of shots. Middle of summer, so whatever. But then I found out he had gone on like a 40-mile bike ride at like 11 p.m. that night. Got in at like 2 a.m. and then he was in the weight room when I got down there at 7:30. So, you know, it was funny to me.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing with Kobe Bryant because he'd be working out early in the morning, even though he tells you like 3 a.m. doesn't mean it's 3 p.m., but it's actually 3 a.m. or something like that. So his work ethic is really, really up there for sure. So you got to be prepared if you are working out with Kobe Bryant. So if he says 3, you know for a fact that's 3 a.m., not 3 p.m. So he'll tell you that you're actually late.
Fitting to me, that was like in my head. I was too scared to say it to anybody else, but I was like, man, am I seeing like the decline? I was like, oh no, he's just worked out for 40 hours straight.
I heard a story about early on in your career, you wore them. Obviously, you've been wearing them since the 12th grade. When you played against Kobe, did you wear his shoes or did you wear a different shoe?
So early on, I remember who said something to me. I'm gonna ask Vince if you remember this. I remember
right before all the free agency started, all we hear was DeRozan. He might be joining the Lakers and stuff like that. He might sign with the Lakers. He might take a pay cut and all that stuff. But goddamn, he did not take a pay cut with that Chicago Bulls team. But that Chicago Bulls team, they do look really, really good, with also adding in Lonzo Ball too as well, with Zach LaVine and Vujic as well. That might be a pretty good team. But yeah, DeRozan, he did not take a pay cut. That's 100% sure. But let's continue here.
Vince was like, when you play against Kobe, do you wear shoes? I'm like, no, I haven't yet. Like, why? Like, nah, you don't supposed to wear your opponent's shoe or blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, oh, all right. So next time I played Kobe, I wore some Jordans. It's the wrong fucking thing I should have did. As soon as I walked on the court, Kobe was like, oh, that's what we doing, motherfucker? And didn't say nothing to me the rest of the game. Right?
Hey, you just sounded so much like him right there when he said that. That's what we doing, motherfucker. Yeah, you sounded just like Kobe right there, dude. That's crazy as hell. He was off you, huh? He was off. Did he probably bust your ass too?
What, man? And that game, I swear to God, you can find the game too, bro. I remember I had hit somebody hit a shot, put us up like 1. They called a timeout in front of our bench. This motherfucker walked past our bench while we was in the huddle, said, you left me too much time. Came out, hit the fucking game winner, right? So I was like, man, so after the game, I talked to him, he was like, damn, man, my bad, blah, blah, blah.
That's what's up. That's a crazy ass story. That's what's up.
Yeah, I don't think I never told that.
Yeah, nah, but hey, I swear to God,
I would have loved to see DeRozan on the Lakers, but we can't. Like every single year, we'll always talk about DeRozan. He might always join the Lakers, but never actually happen. It's kind of like with Paul George too, as well. The same thing. Like always hear about they might be joining the Lakers, but that actually never end up happening. But let's continue the video. We are about to get another ad here, so let's...
When you said it, because he done said that plenty of times. That shit was crazy.
Man.
Alright, so we're back again after that ad. And for me, like, I did actually have Jordan shoes and also Kobe shoes too as well. So they're both pretty nice. So I actually had both versions of both those players' shoes and actually wore them too as well. Some of them I actually wore and played basketball with them as well. But let's continue here.
We were in the Olympics, right? And this is when I knew Kobe was a monster, though. You hear about it, but you really, if you don't see it, you really, really don't know. And so we get into a city, one of the cities very late. And immediately we all go to the gym, all my guys, it's Melo, it's me, it's Bryant, it's Kobe. Like we all go to the gym, we all get our work in. It's real late. And so after we get done getting our work in, me and my guys, we say, hey, like, let's meet for breakfast in the morning. Like, if you can't sleep, whoever first one wake up, hit us up. We're going to go eat. And so we do that. We probably get like 3 hours of sleep. You can't sleep much when you're traveling across the world, like we were traveling. And we probably get like 3 hours of sleep. And we wake up, we go down to where the food is. And as we walking down, slubbing with sleep in our eyes, Kobe Bryant is sitting there with ice on his knees already, right? So we walk up to Kobe, like, Kobe, what's up? And he was like, yeah, man, I just finished the workout and I'm about to go do another one. And at that moment, I was like, wait, hold on. We just worked out about 3 hours ago. You know what I mean? And like, you've done another workout and you about to go do another one. That's when I was like, okay.
Well, that's Kobe Bryant. He does work out a lot and try to get better at the game as well. And he's also a student of the game too as well. I'm glad he actually did end up joining the USA team in 2010. I know before that, like, before the USA team, they were been losing and stuff like that. They're getting like silvers, bronze maybe too as well, I believe. And that I know that probably upset Carmelo because he was on those team, and they did not win like gold or anything. But when Kobe and some other players joined that 2010 team, kind of like the redemption, so they actually ended up winning gold and also the 2012 one as well. So I'm kind of glad Kobe did join those two teams there, and they did end up winning gold. So that was pretty amazing there. But man, just playing in the Olympics and then also playing in the NBA games, that does take a toll on you as well. That's why, to me, kind of like for Kobe, he did play a lot of games and also playing in the Olympics for 2 years in a row like that as well. And he was not getting any younger. So man, injuries did end up catching up to him eventually as well. So let's get back to Dwayne Wade here.
I got to get my stuff together. I got to get my shit together. because this dude right here is on a whole different level than even I'm on, and I'm supposed to be great.
And also too, like helping like Dwayne Wade. He probably also helped LeBron, Carmelo, and everybody else too as well, as a veteran type player too as well. And I kind of like the team, how they all sacrificed and they did all well. That's how they end up winning gold medals. But you know, that's what they all have to do really in the Olympics team, because you are going to be stars in the NBA, but when you're in the Olympics, everyone is going to have some type of sacrifice if you guys want to actually end up winning and playing as a team as well.
Right? So that's the kind of person he was, and that's how he drove me. You know what I mean? Like just little stuff like that. I went back and said, okay, that means I got to work hard and I got to do more. So yeah, I just wanted to share that little anecdote.
That's great.
He's a beast, man.
He had a lot of respect for guys.
Mr. Bryant Scott, I know he was also the coach, and he did play with Kobe Bryant for a little bit too as well, when Kobe Bryant was a rookie, I believe. And also, I'm not sure if he played with him as well in the second year of his career, but I know he, as a rookie, he was there for Kobe Bryant and also ended up coaching Kobe Bryant as well later on. But that team wasn't that great with Bryant Scott, and he wasn't the greatest coach too either. But end of the day, he did pretty good with the New Jersey Net team. That's the only team I could say he did pretty well with. I'm not sure what other good team he... Oh, maybe was it New Orleans? I'm not 100% sure. But I know for sure Brooklyn Nets was one of them for sure. But he didn't do too great as a coach for the Lakers. But, you know, he was a pretty good player. Solid role player for that Lakers team. Especially winning those titles too as well. With Magic Johnson and also Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and you had some James Worthy. Like, you have some really good stars, and then you also had some really, really good role players, like even Michael Cooper as well. Even though Michael Cooper didn't really score that many points, but he also defended really, really well, and he also won Defense Player of the Year, I believe, too, as well, or something like that. He didn't win, but he was on defensive team for sure. But let's continue here.
Busted their butts, you know, every single day, being that they were very talented or not. But if you came to work every single day and you didn't bag down to him because he would test you, you know, that's the one thing.
Mr. Isaiah Ryder, man, I feel bad for him because he was averaging like 20 points with that Timberwolves team. Then when he went to the Lakers, he only averaged about 7 points. And he didn't really play that much for that Lakers team, even though they did end up winning the title that year too with him. I know he also did play with the Blazers as well for Isaiah Ryder, and also Timberwolves, and he played for another team, I believe, but as also with the Lakers, but he didn't score that many points and did not get to play that much as well. But let's continue.
And I loved about it. He would test guys in practice.
How would he test them?
Oh, elbowing them, talking to them, you know, telling them they can't guard him. You know, you got this guy out here, and this guy can't hold my jock. You know, but I mean, he would talk so much stuff, and he would really just to see how you're going to react to it.
Touch me the rest of the scrimmage. All right, let's put your hands on me.
You know, and some of it I think is that he emulated some of the things that MJ did as well, because MJ was a terror in practice.
Yeah, he's hard on.
MJ was the same thing too. But I still remember him punching Steve Kerr. That's one thing we always hear about, him punching Steve Kerr. But yeah, let's continue here.
He was hard on his teammates.
Yeah.
Fucking hard, you ain't got that. You make what you ain't called. You know what? I got to spin to you all day.
And sometimes you do have to be hard on your teammates and stuff like that. Some you can push harder than others. Some you can't. So some of them you're gonna have to leave alone.
You know, and you know, even the last 2 years I had him here, you know, I wouldn't allow him to practice much, but there was days where he was like, well, B, let me just scrimmage. And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. So, you know, we're going to scrimmage at about this time. Come on back out, you know, get yourself.
Oh, man, Nick Young. That team was so bad with that team with Nick Young, and then have Jeremy Lamb, Jordan Hill. Oh, man, that was just a bad team. But, yeah, at least, oh, man, we don't need to see that anymore. Really, for the last couple of years. At least now our team is a little bit better with our superstars, getting Westbrook. Now we have LeBron and also AD as well. So, oh man, just watching that team Jesus Christ, that was so bad. And I kind of feel bad for Kobe too because, oh man, he was getting injury a lot too as well that year, like all those years after. And then touring his Achilles too as well. He wasn't the same, but he still did solid at times, but wasn't like he was playing so many games because he was missing a lot of games too because of injuries. But you know, you got to see Kobe Bryant, so
back loose and I'm gonna let you scrimmage. And he would be in the scrimmage talking the whole time to guys, to Nick Young and to Jeremy Lin's and Carlos Boozers and I would sit there sometimes and say, guys, you not gonna say nothing back?
What started that back and forth though?
It was like a testing day for Kobe to test like Jeremy Lin, test me, and test like Wesley Johnson and other guys. So like from the
oh man, Wesley Johnson, we always hear about him because every year is always he has the potential. He had those moments where he had some really, really good games. And then also later on, he would just have some really, really bad games for like 10 games in a row to just have one good game. I don't know. That Wesley Johnson, he was like the 4th round pick too as well for the Timberwolves. And he never planned out. But always, every single year, he has potential. That's why we always hear about what Wesley Johnson was so kind of annoying. But yeah, let's continue here.
He was killing Jeremy Lin. Like I guess he wanted Jeremy Lin to be something he wasn't, but he was killing from the start of the practice. I don't know why we got him. Why is he here? He had one good year talking crazy. Like, but during the practice, I'm up here like Jeremy Lin. Come on, man. We can't go out like this. We ain't going out like this. Good. Not today. I'm getting mad like Jeremy, come on, man. Kobe, y'all soft like Sherman. Oh, I can't even get better practicing with y'all.
And he would do it to just see which of these guys he could be in that foxhole with.
I can't guard him. But then again, we always remember the meme where he shot the ball and he was already celebrating, and then the ball rolled back out, and then, man, that was always a meme there with Nick Young there. But Nick Young, I know his first year with the Lakers, he was pretty good, but after that, not too much. But that team was just awful, so, that didn't really matter who averaged 20 points because it didn't really matter because when you only win 19 games, nobody cared if you actually scored that many points. But let's continue here.
Because I said nobody in the world could go.
Oh,
he
said
lucky I'm not from this world.
Damn, he good, bro. He too quick.
So we going back and forth. It was fun. Then the next day, we won a game. And he was like praising us and all that type of shit.
I love when you waved them off. I think it was against the Spurs.
Yeah. That was the game. That was right after that.
Oh,
that was right after that. In the interview, I said, I said something about the.
I wonder how pissed off Kobe Bryant was when Nick Young actually ended up making that shot. But if he bricked it, I think Kobe would have been even more pissed off. That's for sure. But back again, and let's play the play button.
Now Young with 2, lets it fly. It's good! Nick Young for 3! And the Lakers lead with 7.4 remaining. Young's 6th triple of the night.
Like, we had a... Fuck, he gonna be mad at me for this. But look, we had a blowout. We got blew out in Portland.
We was getting blew out in Portland. So everybody... Kobe's in the locker room just waiting for everybody to come in. And everybody down there got Kobe's on the team, so
yeah.
We come in.
And he came in the locker room and he was like, from now on out, every time down the court, I touch the ball. Y'all gonna learn what it's like to play with Kobe Bean fucking Bryant.
How y'all gonna wear these shoes and y'all soft? Ain't what we do here in LA. So I'm not thinking nothing of it. He tells everybody to take their shoes off, their Kobe's off. I'm like, what?
Okay.
Oh, this motherfucker serious.
It's dead ass serious. Like, what's wrong with you, man? Like, what's wrong with you? Nah, take them off. Take them off.
And so Nick Young, playful ass. We shower and shit. We come back.
And y'all did?
And we took them off.
Did y'all throw them in the middle of like the...
in the middle of foul, like foul, he just started grabbing people's shoes and just throwing them. He threw them all in the trash.
Oh,
and
wow.
He's like, y'all don't deserve these.
We shower and shit. We come back. Nick walk in the locker room talking about, y'all better throw that motherfucker the ball or it's going to be some shit around here. Like, Nick never took anything serious, though.
Which y'all saw Kobe.
Damn, that was like throwing those Kobe shoes, because Kobe shoes, they're not that cheap either. So, man, getting taken away too as well.
Oh, yeah, come back in LeBrons and stuff like that.
What y'all say? Did anyone...
Like, man, I ain't going to wear those anyway.
I do like Sue Bird. She's an amazing player. I know she did. Was it last year or the year before? But she did end up winning the title. So congrats with her winning another title. So that's pretty cool. Let's continue though.
The glass, and he was kind of like reading a paper. So this is 2008. So they had just lost to the Celtics in the finals, like tragically, if memory serves. And so he opens up the paper, and there's like this article about it, and there's a picture of Paul Pierce. So I see it. We kind of are, and like it's Kobe Bryant. Listen, it's 2008. We're all sitting there. Fucking Kobe Bryant sits down and pours a glass of wine. We're like, what the fuck, And then we look over, and he's tearing out the picture of Paul Pierce. So he cuts it out and he folds it up. He puts it in his pocket, and like we're all looking at him, like what's going on? He's like, motivation. We're like, oh, cool. And then he proceeded to like chug his wine, pour another glass, chug it, poured the third, and he was like, basically like, he looks over and he's like, now I'm one ahead of you guys. We were like, okay.
That is great. That is such a great story. So when I hear those stories,
I personally do like also JJ Redick's podcast. He does have a pretty solid podcast as well. I do like his guests that he does bring up there, and he does amazing job there. So I know he's right now a free agent still. I think he might be still injured a little bit or something like that. But I was hoping for Lakers to sign him a couple years ago, because he would have been amazing on that Lakers team. But then again, I don't know why. Every single year it doesn't seem like it always actually happens. It probably won't happen this year either. But you never know, because he's still a free agent right now. But he's one hell of a shooter. But the only bad side is just the defense side of JJ Redick. But I don't think we kind of need to play him that much minutes. But just have him to shoot threes, and that'll be amazing on this Lakers team right now. But let's continue here.
it's about Kobe, and I hear him from so many people. I'm like, yo, was he really like? Was some of it performance art? Like some of it was like, I've gotta live up to this reputation. Like, who does that? Could he have not torn that piece of paper out in his own room and put it in his pocket? He wanted someone to know.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Jordan's with the Washington Wizards, and they play in Washington. Jordan beats Kobe.
Jordan gets that win. Kobe was guarding him, and he did something because Jordan made the last play, made like a pass, and they hit the game.
At the end of the game, he smacks Kobe on the butt and said,
"You can put the shoes on, but you ain't gonna never feel them."
The eights, he had the eights on, right?
Yeah. You're never gonna feel them. You're never gonna feel these shoes.
Kobe.
Damn, of course, Michael Jordan will definitely say that kind of stuff, and then that kind of pissed off Kobe, that's for sure. When they against him the next time, you know what Kobe was going to do to him.
Stop talking to his teammates.
They say Kobe didn't talk to the team for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks. Literally would not say anything to anybody.
Like he just went silent. But he was on 1 million.
And
that's crazy though. For 2 weeks though. Oh man, not even talking to anybody. You know Kobe was pissed off, and then for that game against the Wizards, you know, just give him the ball. Just give him the ball and just let him go.
They talked to Phil Jackson. The teammates were like, what's going on? What's going on?
So they said, Phil, what's up with Kobe? He mad at us? It was like, nah, he ain't mad at you.
Well, Jordan told him that comment, and it upset him.
in Washington. It's like, in what? 2 weeks ago? He's like, yeah, he told him he can copy him all he wants and do all that, but he'll never fulfill those shoes.
So they already knew what was coming. So then the Wizards came to Los Angeles to play.
Hey, they was like, yeah, I feel sorry for next time we play Jordan.
Kobe scored 42 points in the first half.
Wearing that distinctive headband out to Kobe.
That's crazy. 42 points in the first half. Man, this game you could probably almost scored like almost the 81-point game if you played the whole entire game probably. But I guess he didn't play the entire fourth quarter either. So he probably just played the first 3 quarters, seems like.
5 on the shot clock. Kobe Kobe looking in the corner, instead stops the baseline, squares up.
23 consecutive points scored by Kobe. 30 points in the game. That was a nice looking shot.
Pull-up check against Kwame Brown. Crossover. Pull-up check shot. Good again. You better take a timeout.
And scored 55 points in that game.
They said they already knew what was about to happen against MJ when MJ came to LA.
Wow.
And they said, sure enough, Kobe went out and that motherfucker said, it wasn't. He didn't even have to tell the team. Once they heard what happened, is what Kobe decided to do.
On Jordan.
Which a lot of people don't say.
He had 42 in the first half.
Yeah. Gave him 55.
Bro, you could see Mike's face in the end. Now that explains it.
They said
Mike with the towel.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It was what was told to him.
Yeah. He's a psycho.
That's what I said. He's a psycho.
That's the thing, though. Some people take it as a grudge and stuff like that for a while because, some people take it too seriously and all that stuff. I guess Kobe does Kobe did use a lot of feud and all that stuff, use it as motivation, all the hate. When he does get all the hate on all that stuff, he kind of use it as motivation and does help him a lot and field them and try to prove the point to those people as well. But let's continue with the video.
The reality show, The Real World.
Yes.
That used to be on MTV.
Yeah.
Kobe was a rookie.
Arn was my agent as well. And I was the elder statesman of the firm, and Arn called me up and was like, do you mind talking to this young kid and show him what the NBA is all about and how to conduct yourself? I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll talk to this kid.
We were set to play a game of basketball versus the real world cast. It was shot in Hollywood, and all I remember is Gail continuing to say to me, look, when you guys get there, you're going to get there before the cast of Real World. All Kobe wants to do is play you one-on-one. He just wants to play you one-on-one, one-on-one, one-on-one. I'm like, look, I'm 10 years in. This is 96, 97 year, that summer. So he had 1 year in. So I'm 10 years in. I'm not going to play this young cat one-on-one. I'm like, all right, I'll play a soft game of one-on-one versus him, but our focus should be going against the real world cast. So we get there, and we're playing soft one-on-one, and, I'm doing my step-back jumper. I know you've alluded to this before. And he's like, how do you do that move? And, I kind of show him because I was trying to take things from him as well. He had this killer crossover. I'm like, wow, how do you do that? So we're exchanging our go-to moves.
Pumpkin love.
Well, a conversation turned into text messages and phone calls every day. Because, like you said, he was gathering information.
We reached the Bulls in the conference finals, and he was like, so what was it like going against Jordan?
He wanted to be bigger than life. And at that time, that person bigger than life, and still is Michael Jordan. And I didn't have a very strong relationship with MJ. But Kobe wanted to know what was all the intricate talking and trash talking and moves that were going on between MJ and I.
What did you do? Like, what were your game plans? What was this? I was like, man, that black cat, there was no answer for him, man. We tried this, we tried that. That black cat was doing this and that.
And I'm thinking to myself, what does this kid want to know about all this MJ talk for? there's only one black cat. You know, because I referred to call Michael Jordan or Jordan. I always called him the black cat. It's like the black cat was, you know, we were doing this, and I'm talking to Kobe. And I'm like, Kobe. He's like, you know what?
Like, you know what? Well, you better get ready for the caramel cat because he's coming. So before the black mamba.
Caramel cat, damn. I think that would have been a bad one. Luckily, he came up with a better one with the black mama. That's even better.
Before the black mamba, his nickname was the caramel cat.
I'm thinking, this young 17-year-old, I'm talking about the greatest ever. He says, you're going to refer to me as the caramel cat.
That's how much confidence he had back then. This is like 1 year into it. He's like, well, you better forget the black cat. You better get ready for the caramel cat because he's coming.
And I thought about it. I'm like, fast forward 2 or 3 years later, it was 2-1. And then game 4 that you mentioned, you fouled out. I'm thinking, you know, you already had 50.
And I think this is when actually Kobe became that type of like a superstar type player as well. And also like as a clutch player too as well, because Shaq fouling out, everyone probably would have thought that the Pacers will probably somehow find a way to actually end up winning, but then Kobe did not allow that to actually end up happening.
In 25. Great.
That's a loose ball foul on Shaq. That'll be number 6. What a big play.
3 years later in the NBA Finals, that same move that I was showing them in my step back, he hit in game 3 after Shaq fouled out.
Reggie Miller, the marquee matchup we talked about. Look at Reggie Miller squaring him up. These two guys played one-on-one all summer in L.A. Kobe takes it between his legs. He pulls it back, hits the jumper, and then sort of gives it, you know, take your time. Everything's cool.
As he's running down the court, passing on the button, says, you never should have showed me that step back. I'm going to kill this young kid.
Probably shouldn't showed him that move, but of course, Kobe's going to use every single move that you actually show him. And that's who he was. And he was a student of the game as well.
I'm going to kill this young kid. Brilliant.
And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Those were a collection of...
And that's going to be it as well for me. So that's the end of the Kobe Bryants and all the legends and also players talking about Kobe Bryant. And that year too as well, Lakers did end up winning the title. So they did end up beating the Pacers. And, you know, like, I guess Reggie Miller, he probably shouldn't have showed any of those moves to him. Probably should never show all your moves, especially if you're one-on-one, especially. But because people are going to use the move you are going to make. But I think that's when actually Kobe did end up becoming a star player as well. Because, of course, everyone keeps saying Shaq was carrying Kobe Bryant and all that stuff. But I say no, because actually Kobe did end up helping as well, like that kind of game right there. I know before that game 1 or 2 or something like that, he did end up getting his ankle injury because he landed on Jalen Rose's foot and he was out for one of the games, but he ended up playing. So, like, you know, like Kobe, that's when you know he was like even playing with injuries. He was still trying to find a way to play the game. So that's how he was. But then again, those injuries did end up catching up to him as well later on of his career. But, you know, that's how Kobe Bryant worked, and that's who he is. And this is going to be it for me, and I'll see you guys next time.